Hi everybody, in this video we're going to be looking at the passage discovered by accident. It's number 9 in your books and it's on page 14. I'm going to explain the answers to each question, and when you finish looking at the video you can send me your score on Facebook so that I know how you've done. Now, question number 1. What does penicillin kill? What does penicillin kill? So we're looking for something, a thing, what, modulaire, marginalaire. So we're looking for a thing that penicillin kills. If your answer is not a noun, then your answer is definitely going to be wrong. We can see the word kill here in the passage, and this links to the question. It kills germs. What is it? Well, we go backwards, and we see that it is penicillin. So penicillin kills germs. So the answer for number 1 is germs. Question 2. Who discovered penicillin? We're looking for a person. And if your answer for number 2 is not a person's name, then your answer must be wrong. We know that people's names start with capital letters. So as we look through the passage, we see a person down here. Dr. Alexander Fleming was working to kill staph germ. He worked for years. One day he took the cover off a dish and he looked inside. There was a thick growth of staph germ. There was also some mold. Then he saw something strange. Where the mold was, there was no growth of staph. This is what Fleming probably thought. By accident, I found a mold to kill the dreaded staph. Staph is a type of germ. Staph is a germ. Penicillin kills the germ. So the mold must be penicillin. And the person that discovered penicillin is Dr. Alexander Fleming. So you should have copied this name down here. Dr. Alexander Fleming for question 2. Question 3, we are looking at true, false, and not given. A, staph used to be a mild illness. Mild means not serious, not dangerous, not bad. Well, look at paragraph 1. Before penicillin, this would not happen. Staph was almost sure death. So if the illness staph was almost sure to kill you, then staph was a very dangerous illness, not a mild illness. So answer A is false. B, doctors were afraid of staph. Well, do we see doctors anywhere? It says you go to the doctor and the doctor would give you some pills, okay? Nothing about being afraid or not being afraid. And then we go down here, there's nothing about doctors, and down here, nothing about doctors. So actually, there's nothing about how the doctors were feeling in this passage. So 3B is not given. C, scientists could kill means in the past, staph easily. Could they kill staph easily? Well, it says in paragraph 2, they tried to kill it, nothing worked. Nothing worked means they could not kill staph easily. So C is going to be false. Penicillin was a well-known substance before the tests. Penicillin was a well-known substance before the tests. Well, there's a few parts of the passage that are going to help you to know this. What was discovered by accident? The answer is penicillin. Now, when you discover something, it means you find it for the first time. You didn't know about it before. And in this paragraph, it talks about mold. I found a mold. It doesn't say I found penicillin. It says I found a mold. So that suggests that Fleming didn't really know what to call this mold. Maybe he had not seen it before. Going into the next paragraph, this is how penicillin was found. It was found, meaning they hadn't seen it before. So penicillin was well known before the test is going to be false. It was found during the test for the first time. Fleming was a weak scientist. Now, we know here that Fleming was very smart, but we don't know if he was good at science or not. Being smart and being a good scientist are not the same thing. Being a scientist is a skill. Being smart is something about your brain. There's nothing here actually that says he was a smart scientist. It says it was discovered by accident. He wasn't testing for it. He wasn't planning it. He wasn't trying a hypothesis. So, answer is not given. Question 3 is 5 marks. 1 mark for each correct answer. False, not given. False, false, not given. Question 4 is going to be 3 marks. 1 for each correct answer. Now, things that are the main idea mean it covers all of the main points of the passage. If something is too broad, then it's going to be too big to be the main idea. And if it's too narrow, it's too small to be the main idea. Maybe it only comes from one small paragraph or one sentence. Now, I always like to start by looking at the subjects. So we have Dr. Fleming, we have accidents, plural, and we have Dr. Fleming. 2 of the answers are about Dr. Fleming. One of them is just about any accident. So I'm trying to think of the broad answer. This is not about any accident, it is about one accident only. And it is about one scientist only, Dr. Fleming. So let's look at B. Accidents can be helpful if the right person, does not say Dr. Fleming, understands what they mean. This is going to be too broad. It is too broad to be the main idea because it's not about penicillin and it is not about Dr. Fleming. So now we have two answers left. One will be too small, one will be the main idea. Dr. Fleming knew the mold growing in the staph germ was different. Without Dr. Fleming's insight, the discovery of penicillin would have been lost. Well, this is just about the mold growing in the staph germ. This has the word penicillin. Now let's go back to the passage. Well, in paragraph 1, we have about penicillin. That's because penicillin kills germs. Penicillin kills staph. And also down here, you have this is how penicillin was found. The passage begins and ends by talking about penicillin. It is penicillin that kills germs like staph. Here, if you look at answer A, it just says it is different. It doesn't say it was going to kill the germ, it just says it was different. This is going to be the narrow idea. It comes from this part of the passage here. It was strange, it was different. There was no growth of staph. It's just saying it's strange, it's different. This answer here is only about this sentence here. Answer C is the main idea because the passage is about Dr. Fleming finding penicillin and killing a disease, all of which kind of comes in answer C. In 5, this passage is mainly about what's the ideas? Discovering penicillin. Well, we have discovered here. We have discovered here. We have penicillin. We have penicillin was found. Okay, so a lot of the passage is about how penicillin was found. B, helpful accidents. That's just going to be too broad. It's only about one accident. It's only about finding penicillin. Dr. Fleming's research? Well, this is also going to be too broad. In his lifetime, Dr. Fleming might have researched many different things. This is telling you about one thing that he was researching, one discovery that he made, not everything that he looked at in his lifetime. And D, look at D, it says cure for infections, plural. Well, actually, we're looking at staph, the cure for staph. We're only looking at this one infection. So D is also too broad. The correct answer is answer A. Question 6 is a little bit tricky. To find a cure for staph infections, staph was dropped into many solutions, mold was kept in small dishes, staph was grown in small dishes, or covers were put over the test tubes. Now, let's have a look. The lab dishes had covers over them, so D is possible. These kept things from falling into a dish. Molds were a big worry. They are always floating in the air. You can't see them. They're too small. There are thousands of different molds. Molds can ruin an experiment. That's why dishes are covered. So they were not putting mold into dishes. So answer B is wrong. Dr. Alexander Fleming was working to kill the staph germ. He worked for years. One day he took a cover off a dish. He looked inside. There was thick growth of staph germ. There was also some mold. So inside the dish there was already staph growing and some mold. Staph was inside the dish. Staph was growing inside the dish. They were not dropping the staph into dishes, and the cover was supposed to keep out the mold, but the mold was necessary to kill the germ. The correct answer is C. He looked in the dish to look at the mold, to look at the staph germ that he was growing. Number 7. The last paragraph suggests that accidents happen to everyone. Luck is needed when doing scientific research. The unprepared person will miss valuable opportunities, or the prepared person does not have accidents. This is how penicillin was found. But here's the real miracle. There are thousands of types of mold, but only one can kill staph. The mold must have fallen into the dish a few days before. The cover was probably only off for a few seconds. In those few seconds, the right mold fell into the right dish. Another man might have thrown the dish away. What a loss that would have been. Now, it does not say that everybody has an accident, so we can take away answer A. Luck is needed in this experiment, but it does not tell you about other experiments, so we can take away answer B. And Alexander Fleming was lucky. He was lucky because this mold fell into the right dish, and he was there. So even though he was prepared, he was lucky and he had an accident. He did not plan for the mold to go into his dish. So even though Fleming was prepared, Fleming still had an accident. The correct answer is C. The unprepared person will miss valuable opportunities. Number 8. Most of the passage is devoted to what? An argument, advice, a story, or the results of several experiments. Now, this does tell you that he was looking for many years, but it does not tell you what he found for those years. So we can take away answer D. It does not tell you all the results of all the experiments he did. It only tells you about one accident. Now, an argument is giving you reasons for something. This is not about reasons. This is a story about Alexander Fleming discovering something. So take away answer A. And there's no advice. When people give you advice, it's like should. You should eat less. You should stop smoking. You should drink less alcohol. This is advice. And that word should shows you this is advice. But in this passage, there is nothing that is advice to people. It is what happened in the past. It is a story about what happened in the past. So the best answer is C. It's a strange story. 9. What does the word dreaded mean in the passage? Well, first we need to find the word dreaded. It says, by accident, I found a mold to kill the dreaded staph. What did we learn in paragraph 1 about staph? It said, in paragraph 1, it said, staph was almost sure death. Staph was almost sure death. So staph would kill people. It was a disease, but it wasn't the disease staph. It's showing you something that people feel. So it's not going to be answer C. It's not just looking for a noun. We're looking for a kind of an adjective. Well-known staph, but here it's talking about killing people. Just saying it's well-known is not saying good or bad. So well-known is a little bit too general. Misunderstood? No, people understood it very well. They knew that if they got staph, they would probably die. So we take away answer D. No, people feared staph. If something can kill you, you will be afraid of it. So the answer is B. Now, question 10 asks you to write a summary of the passage. And there are different ways to look at summaries. If you're looking at an argument, you might try to write one sentence for each paragraph to summarize the idea in each paragraph, because when you write an argument, like when you write an essay, you will divide your argument into separate points, and a summary should include all of those main points. But this is not an argument. This is a story. And so when we're looking at a story, we can think about who, what, where, when, maybe why. So in this passage, let's start with who. Who is this about? This is about Dr. Alexander Fleming. What is this about? It's about penicillin. Penicillin which cured staph, which killed the dreaded staph. Where is it? We don't know. So in this story, we cannot say where. When is it? We don't know. So we can take it out for here. Why did it happen, or what happened? Well, let's think about this carefully. What are the main points that we need to include? Well, it says it was an accident. It says here that it was an accident, that the right mold fell into the right dish. It was not planned. It says that Fleming was smart and he understood what the mold did. Let's put this into a summary. Now look at my summary. My summary uses my own words. I do not copy from the passage. Also, my summary is short. I only include the most important points. The question said 5 sentences, and so I have written 5 sentences, 1 mark for each. This passage is about penicillin. It was discovered by Alexander Fleming. So penicillin is the who, is the what. The Alexander Fleming is the who. And now we think penicillin can kill the disease called staph. That's what it does. And now we're going to look at this idea of it being an accident. Fleming was lucky to discover staph. And then a little bit of detail about how it happened. The mold fell into the dish by accident, and he realized that the effect was useful. So when you're marking your summary, you should have something about penicillin, about Alexander Fleming, about penicillin killing staph, about it being an accident or about it being lucky, and about Fleming realizing the effect of the mold on the staph. These are the 5 main points that you need in your summary. Have a look at my summary again carefully. Maybe pause the video before the video finishes. Think about where the ideas came from. And next time you do a summary, remember, do not copy from the passage. Use your own words and include the main idea only. If you have a story, think about who, what, where, when, why. If you have an argument, think about taking an idea from each paragraph so that you include the whole of the passage in your summary.